Hi everybody, I am Flávio Gomes da Silva Lisboa, PhD in Technology and Society, and I will present the paper, A First Look at Usage of Free Software in Brazilian States. Well, let's go. Introduction. In Brazil, in the first decade of the 20th century, some states approved laws that gave preference to the use of free software in their administrations. More precisely, the states of Rio Grande do Sul in 2002, Paraná in 2003, and Santa Catarina in 2004. These three states are located in the southern region of Brazil. During the 2000 years, Brazil's federal government strongly promoted the use of free software. While there are some surveys on the use and production of free software by the federal government, we did not find consolidated data on the use of free software by state governments. About this, I have to talk about this detail. You can find in the proceedings of the Latin American Congress on Free Software and Open Technologies of 2021 year, a paper named Use and Production of Laws in Brazilian Government, a wide survey. Okay. Continuing about the methodology. To obtain data on usage, production, and software acquisition policies of the Brazilian states, we used the Brazilian Access to Information Law. Each state has its structure for complying with the Access to Information Law. So we had to make requests on different information systems. The requests had the following questions. First, what are the free software used by the agencies of the state of name and what are they used for? Second, does the state of name have a policy of buying proprietary software even if there is free software with the same functionality? Thirdly, has the state of name developed any free software through its agencies? Then, the questions were about has used, has policies, and has produced. Well, about the results. 18 states answered some of the questions until this paper is concluded. 3 states didn't provide a list of used free software: Ceará, Minas Gerais, and São Paulo. You can see this table about the state's participation. The question about which free software are used was answered by 15 states, and the questions about free software acquisition policies and about development of free software were answered by 18 states. Well, results about free software usage. We identified 158 software used by the 15 states that responded to the request about which free softwares they use. Table 2 shows how many free software each state declared to use. It's important to clarify that we are talking about occurrence of the same product, not the quantity of copies. No state reported how many instances of each software are used. Until now, with the available data, the bigger user is Alagoas with 89 software. Well, continuing, Table 3 shows the user states that use 4 or more free software. The 2 most used software are Nginx, a HTTP server, and PostgreSQL, a database management system. These 2 software are used by 6 states each one. The users of Nginx are Alagoas, Distrito Federal, Goiás, Maranhão, Mato Grosso do Sul, and Rondônia. The users of PostgreSQL are Alagoas, Maranhão, Mato Grosso do Sul, Pernambuco, Paraná, and Sergipe. Only one state, Alagoas, reported having developed free software. However, we found that this state had not actually developed any free software. 2 states, Bahia and Ceará, responded that they did not know whether they had developed free software. At first, of the 18 states that provided an answer to the question, none produced free software. Then, strangely, the answers were like, we made it, but we didn't made it. Or we didn't know if we made it. Well, we can establish 4 categories based on the answers to the question about free software acquisition policies. 1. Evaluation of technical criteria. Most states, 12, responded that they acquired software for its technical characteristics, regardless of whether it is free or not. What matters is meeting the requirements. 2. Preference for free software. 3 states, Amazonas, Rondônia, and Santa Catarina, responded that they prefer free software when purchasing software. 3. Warrant, technical support, and right to upgrades. While the first category revealed a lack of understanding of the question on the part of the states, since they asked about software with the same functionality, 2 states, Goiás and Roraima, were quite clear about what rules out free software from being acquired: the lack of support and warranty. And 4. Microsoft platform. 1 state, Maranhão, declared that it gives preference to the acquisition of software from the Microsoft platform. Well, and in the discussion, we discussed in the paper about the issues related to information requests, as more than one request due to incomplete answers or nonsense answers. Okay, this is not what I expected. And the conclusion, we observed that some public managers responsible for granting access to public information lack understanding of the concept of open source and free software. This lack of understanding leads to misconceptions such as assuming that using free software to build other software automatically makes it free software. Finally, we observe that among the software most used by Brazilian states, basic software predominates, such as web servers, database management systems, and monitoring systems. The exceptions are Nextcloud and SAI, which are information systems with interface designed not for information technology technicians, but for any other operators. Brazilian states use free software, that's a fact. The data obtained so far show, however, that none of them produced free software, which characterizes them as users. Only the state of Paraná mentioned participation in free software communities, but did not provide any contribution data, which suggests that this participation is limited to discussion, not involving coding. Next steps to be next year with more data. Doubts? You can contact me at flavio.lisboa@fgsl.eti.br. Thank you very much for your attention.